Hi, good evening everyone. This is Dr. Vibha Hans in front of you all, and I'm here to share my IELTS knowledge with you. So, before I start, I'll just giving a small introduction for myself and this great platform, Unacademy. So, I'm Dr. Vibha Hans. I'm a dentist by profession and an IELTS tutor by passion. So, with this passion, I'm there for the last two and a half years, and I have got students from all over the globe. The good point of it is all my students and we have been working together as a team and we've got wonderful results throughout. So that gives me an inspiration to improvise myself and do more about it. Correct? Now I'm really thankful to this Unacademy team who has given me such a wonderful platform to share my knowledge with you. Right? And this team, Unacademy team is wonderful as it brings the students close together from all over the world. It's not localized, but it's like anybody can join in. For this purpose, they have conducted these special classes, and these are absolutely free of cost. So anybody can attend this, have an idea of how this entire procedure is all about, and once if you like that, you can definitely get enrolled with us. Right? So the thing is, if you like all these sessions, there are so many educators on the platform who are helping this. So if you like the session, you can definitely subscribe to Unacademy, get in touch with us, and if I show you, this is the this is my referral code. Correct? This is my referral code, Dr. Vibha Hans. So I have put this referral code on all my slides, and yeah, I think I will have to check if this works. Alright. So this is the referral code which I put on all my slides, and it's really going to be helpful. The advantage of using this referral code is once if you really wish to join us in this with this Unacademy team, so there is a very minimal subscription, right? Like in case you go in for some institute or academy to get the training, there you are not charged less than 10,000 per month. But this Unacademy team, they have charged a very minimal. That's around 1/4 of what others charge. And above that, if you use this referral code, you are still going to get a 10% discount on what the original subscription charges are. The second advantage is if you enroll it with us, so it's not like if you have enrolled using my referral code, it's not that you will be able to attend my live sessions, but you will be in a position to have an access over the live sessions from so many educators who are absolutely wonderful on this platform. Correct? So let me just start talking about my course, what I'm going to talk about today. That's IELTS Listening module. So we all are aware of the fact that IELTS, we have two types of tests for that. One is the IELTS academic training and the other is the IELTS general training, right? So academics is basically meant for those candidates who wish to move abroad for their higher studies or for their work. Whereas general training is meant for those candidates who want to go in for PR for any country, or else they want to they want to go for some education below the graduation level. So there you need the IELTS general training. So talking about the IELTS modules, the different modules we have in the IELTS exam, they are four. The first is the speaking test, second is the listening, then we have reading, and then we have the writing test. So generally in India, the speaking test is held on some other day than the other three tests. The other three tests are held on one day, and the speaking test is generally held on some other day. Now this could be around say around a week earlier, or could be a week later. Correct? So, mm, the speaking test is same for both the categories. Even the listening test is same for both the training programs. That's the academic and the general. However, there is a slight difference between the reading part and the writing parts. So that we leave for the other sessions. So let's start about listening module. So this listening test, today we are going to talk about an overview and the guidelines. We'll be talking about a strategy that should be utilized to ace your exam, to get the best score which you desire. So let's get started. The first and the foremost thing I want to start with is don't panic. We should be able to manage our stress levels. I understand it's the exam, it's an exam. So the name of an exam itself is quite stressful. But here we have to work with our skills. We have to manage our nerves, keep our nerves cool. There is a high gush of adrenaline in our body. So we have to be very smart in keeping a check over that. The reason don't panic, this slide is very important because I'm sure all of us have wonderful knowledge of English. But what happens is when we are working under pressure, our abilities go down. Even though every answer is in the recording of the listening exam, but when we are stressed, we tend to miss on those words. There are chances that we otherwise also miss on the words, but when we are stressed, so we keep on missing the answers, right? We get confused. So here we have to be very smart, very, I would say, utilize our skills to keep our pressures in control. Now there are various ways. Every person has different ways of managing the stress levels. Some people, they can just take a small walk, but like if you're in the listening exam, once you're seated on a chair, you'll not be allowed to walk, right? That you can do in your speaking test. So what happens is, what else you can do is, you are on your chair, you are on your seat, there is a bottle of water in front of you on your table. You can just sip in some water and relax, right? You can apply a pause therapy. What is a pause therapy? It is pause everything. Pause the ideas running into your head. Give a pause to the stresses in your body which are going on. So just pause therapy. Be absolutely blank for some time, maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes. Correct? So this is called the pause therapy. And some people do meditate. Yeah, you can definitely think of your deity and just keep on chanting your prayers maybe. So these are different ways which will help you to keep your stresses down, to manage your stresses. Correct? So after managing the stress, what other thing you have to take care of is time management, right? So I write, there should be a proper time management, right? What do I mean by time management? I mean, many of us will have a questions. We don't have to write anything. It's only the recording which is being played. So how do we manage our time? Yes, we still have to manage our time there. We have to go with the recording. After half an hour of recording, you will be given 10 minutes. Why you are given those 10 minutes? You are given those 10 minutes to transfer your answers from your question paper to your answer sheet. So you should pick up a wonderful speed so as to you attempt, you write, you transfer all the 40 questions. Although 10 minutes are fair enough to transfer 40 words. Basically they are words. They might ask you to write answers in 1 word or 2 word or maximum 3 words. So transferring your answers in 10 minutes is absolutely fine. Now another place where time management comes into play is like they give you some time, before they start playing the recording for every section. They will say you get some time to read questions 1 to 4. So utilize that time to read questions 1 to 4, right? Although you cannot remember, although you cannot memorize those 4 questions in that limited period of time. But yes, you can at least run your eyes through those questions. You can mark your keywords from those questions. Correct? So this is again where time management comes to play. After that, once you are written with the answers, for example, you have completed section 1. They have 1 to 10, question numbers 1 to 10, and you have answered 10 questions. After that, they will again give you half a minute to check your answers. So please utilize the time wherever you are asked for, because they have actually kept these different, they have given you the time lapses to actually utilize them wisely. So please utilize that time wisely, and I hope everyone can get a good score once we are following a proper guidelines of how to take the exam. Now comes the format. What is the format of the listening test? Right? So there is a set format which we have to follow for a listening test. There are 4 sections in all. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3 and Section 4. In all those 4 sections, you have 40 questions in all. So generally they are divided equally. Section 1 will have question numbers 1 to 10. Section 2 will have 11 to 20. 3 will have 21 to 30. And Section 4 will have question numbers 31 to 40. So in all, there can be a slight here and there, but generally it is like that. It's evenly divided. The total time you get is 40 minutes. Now, 40 minutes, it's not exactly 40 minutes they'll play the recording. That will be 30 minutes. They will play a recording plus 10 minutes you will be given to transfer your questions, transfer your answers from the question paper to the answer sheet. Correct? So totally, when we count both of them, that comes out to be 40 minutes. Fair enough? Now, there are 4 sections as I just talked about. So there is a set pattern what these 4 sections would cover. For example, let's start with section A. In section A, there will be 2 speakers, right? So this is a dialogue. Right? Dialogue means 2 people are speaking. So there'll be a conversation. There could be a telephonic conversation. For example, some lady has called up a telephone exchange and asking for some query. Or some person has called up a hotel to do some booking for a conference. Or 2 people are, it's not a telephonic conversation. 2 people are just face to face and they are talking about, what can you say? They are talking about some library. They are seeking some information, or some person has reported a police station, maybe again telephonically, and is lodging some complaint, maybe for a theft, right? So there is a possibility that it's a face-to-face conversation, but primarily, mostly, it is a telephonic conversation, correct, between the 2 speakers. So when the 2 speakers, they'll be talking, so you will get answers to question number 1 to 10, right? So coming to section 2, it will be 1 speaker. Now, what will the speaker talk about? The speaker might give you some information about some tour. The speaker could be a tour guide, would be explaining you everything. There could be some map. For example, here this is a map which is shown to you, and here it's talking about some village, here it's some bookstore, here is some park, here it is a fountain in the center, and this it says is suppose main entrance. So the speaker keeps on speaking, like when you enter the main entrance, if you move to the right, you will find a souvenir shop here. And maybe the souvenir shop is marked A. So in your questions, you are marked like this. Suppose souvenir shop they write, and you have to, I mean, there are different things: souvenir shop, park, club, library, right? And they put the marks like this. So these will be marked as questions like 11, 12, 13 and 14. And here, like, they have marked A, suppose here they have marked B, here they have marked C. It's not that it will always be in alphabetical order. I mean, they could just mingle up the things. So listen to the instructions very carefully. If the speaker speaks, enter from the main entrance, take a right, there'll be a shop, that's a souvenir shop to the right. So you will have to write A in front of the souvenir shop. Correct? So this is basically one speaker. So it is a monologue. Correct? Coming to section 3. Section 3, you have again 3 to 4 speakers. Now it could be an academic, basic, these two. Now if I talk about section 1 and 2, they are basically social topics. Section 3 and section 4, they are academic topics. Correct? So this is how they have actually divided. Now coming to section 3, it will be an academic discussion. It could be between 3 to 4 speakers. It could also be between 2 speakers, but generally it is more than 2 speakers. Now they can be discussing about some presentation. Maybe 2 students are with the in front of the teacher and they're talking about their presentations, or they have what you can say, they are asking about some auditions. There are 2 students who have actually visited some university and they are seeking information over their admission process. So any conversation, so here you will have to be very wise enough to listen carefully and identify who is speaking what. There is a possibility that a confusion can arise between which person is speaking what. So you will have to be very careful in identifying their tones, identifying their speech, and answer accordingly, right? The last section is, here it is one speaker. It is again the academic discussion. Here generally, the speaker talks about some general topic. General, I mean some topic related to academics. For example, extinct animals, right? So the examiner is going to, the speaker is going to speak, as in giving a speech, and you will be asked to pick up the words. Or could be some underwater activities, right? Or it could be what can you say, what else, utilization of resources. These are just few I am naming. The list is absolutely infinite. There could be any topics, but these are just the topics I am trying to tell you. The topics could be related to something like this. Correct? So this is, any topic could be there. The speaker is going to speak and the questions will be generally 31 to 40. So here questions are from 21 to 30. Here the questions are from 11 to 20, and here 1 to 10. So this is how the answers are, your questions are divided. Now please have a look at the answer sheet. This is how you will be getting an answer sheet, right? So when the recording is going on, and the question paper will itself have the places where you can attempt your answers. So keep on writing your answers there, right? Suppose data or animals, whatever. Suppose this is one, they will write the question number along with the space right here. So it will be before this blank space, this question number will be written on it. So please make sure that you are answering all the questions, right? If it is 5, this is 6, this is 7, and suppose 8 is on the other side of the page. So please don't miss this 8, correct? So that is the reason you should always keep on looking at the question numbers which you are answering, so that you unknowingly do not miss on any question. Now, so once you have written your answers here, now after 30 minutes of recording, they'll give you 10 minutes. Now 10 minutes you have to transfer your answers from here to this answer sheet. For example, my answer is data, right? For second, my answer is animals. Now, before writing, please make sure that this is a listening test. Here they have written. The opposite side of this page is exactly the same, but just instead of this listening, it is written reading. Please don't attempt the listening answers into the reading. So please verify this before you start answering your questions. Now, is this the correct way of answering? No, this is not the correct way of answering. Why? Because here, data, it's not a proper noun, and I've written first letter capital, whereas in animals, I have written first alphabet as a small alphabet. So it has to be uniform. Whichever case you wish to pick, that is absolutely your choice. But stick to that. If you're writing animals here, you have to write key here, you have to write fish here, you have to write stone here. Pick up one format, whatever you want to write. Alright, now what are the different ways you can write in capitals? Animals, right? You can write, suppose this is the name of a person, Mr. Brown, correct? If you write all the alphabets, everything in capitals, that's absolutely fine. The other way of writing is, you don't want to write in capitals, maybe you are taking quite long to write in capital letters. You write in small letters. Now, for Mr. Brown, you cannot be writing like this. Why? Because this is a proper noun, and we do not write proper nouns like this. We will have to write Mr. Brown, right? Please be careful about this, because, okay, one more thing. There are some alphabets where we have problems, like R. Sometimes R just goes missed. So, if you have a problem writing in a running hand, please break your alphabets and write. For example, Mr. Brown. There is no harm writing this, and you are not going to be marked less on this, right? You choose this way, you choose this way, you choose this way, is absolutely, but please don't write like this. This will be wrong. Okay? If the examiner does not understand any word, suppose this is I, and the examiner is not able to understand this is I, the examiner is not going to put an extra effort to this. Straightforward, this will be marked as cross. Although your answer is correct, although you know the correct answer, yet it has been marked wrong. Why? Because it was not clear. It wasn't legible. Correct? So please be careful about all these things. Now, there are different types of questions you can have. For example, the MCQs, multiple choice questions, map completion, diagram labeling, form completion, note completion, flowchart completion, could be a sentence or a summary completion, table completion, or short word answer. Short word answers, like you may be asked to use one word or use not more than 2 words, then you have to use only 2 words. They could ask you use not more than 3 words. So the maximum limit has to be 3. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, but it cannot be 4. Correct? So please be careful about all these things. Now, things we have to take care of is read the instructions very, very carefully. This is very important. Why? Because they might ask you to write in words or write letters. What does that mean? Suppose the question says A choice is apple, B choice is pear, C is plum, and D is potato, right? Suppose your question says which one is not a fruit, right? So they will be speaking, well, do you think apple is a fruit? Oh, yeah, apple is definitely a fruit. Now, do not get confused that they have mentioned apple, so that has to be apple. This is a very common question, a very common example. I'm just picking up. I'm sure each one of us knows that apple is a fruit. But just a way of explaining it to you, they might say, is pear a vegetable? No, I'm not very sure if pear is a vegetable. I think pear is a fruit. So they are speaking, they are mentioning these words into their recordings. So please be careful, listen it very, very carefully what they're trying to say. Oh, I think none of these is a fruit, none of these is a vegetable. Potato is a fruit, a vegetable, right? Now they ask you to use words in the answer. They give you instructions before you start with a question. That is words. You have to answer in words. If they ask you to answer in words, you will have to write potato, right? If they ask you to write letters, then D is the answer. It's not potato here, correct? If you write potato here, that will be marked wrong, correct? If they are using Roman numerals here, then you will have to use the Roman numeral. Whatever you are asked to do, you have to do only that part, right? Although potato, the answer is correct, right? But still they have asked you to use a letter. They have not asked you the word. Please make sure, right? All right. The other thing is they can ask you no more than 2 words. So it has to be 2 words. Even if it is an electrician, these are 2 words, right? A happy family. You have to write 2 words. You will not use this article here. You will only write happy family because they make 2 words. Correct? So listen to what they're asking. Suppose the question says use 2 words and or a number. Right? So what does that mean? 2 words means I say mid January, and means I am using a number, right? A number means mid January 2019, right? So my answer will be mid January 2019. This is in relation to and. This we are talking about and. If it is use 2 words or a number, so here these 2 words will not be written. It will be only 2019, right? So this will be or a number. Clear? So use 2 words and or a number. So it could be 2 words plus a number, or 2 words or a number. All right. Now, recording only once. The recording is for 30 minutes. Sorry, it will be for 30 minutes and it will be played only once. Whatsoever happens, whatsoever circumstances are there, they will not play the recording again. So that is the reason you have to be very focused, you have to be very concentrated in listening. So whenever you are, alright, the accent, the other thing comes out to be the accent, right? Although the accent doesn't play a role in your speaking test, but it plays a role in your listening test. How? Because, for example, I am an Indian. I am very comfortable listening to the Indian language, Indian accent, but I will not get an Indian accent. I will either get I can get a British accent. I can either get the Australian accent, or I can get a Canadian accent, but it will be not, these will be the accent and they will not play the recording in if I am giving the exam in India, they are not going to play the recording in the Indian accent. So whenever you practice with the different accents, because you should know how to pick up your answers. There are some words, some alphabets which are spoken very differently. For example, the Britishers for 00, they speak it as O. They do not call 0. Speak it 0. If, for example, the number is 98005432 1. So they will speak 98005432 1. So you have to be very careful about words like double, triple, quadruple. Correct? So they will be using such words and you should know how to pick up those words. If, for example, they're speaking a phone number and they're speaking it as 98005432 and you don't know what is O, you will actually stop here, right? So when you stop thinking here, you miss all this part. As a result, the answer comes out to be wrong. But on the other hand, if you are aware of the fact that OO is 00, double zero, you will immediately pick up the correct answer and attempt it, right? Alright. The other thing is, and moreover, they actually give you time to think. They do not speak very fast. They are quite slow. They pick up a speed which you can easily understand, because you have to do so many things altogether. You have to listen to the recording, you have to read the questions, you have to write your answers, right? So you have to be multitasking, right? So this is how it goes. Now, when they are speaking up a question, generally what happens is, let me just explain it the other way. Alright, so what generally happens is, suppose there are questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So when you get the answer to 1, they will give a very slight pause. So you have to be smart enough to pick up that pause. So that pause will actually give a clue that now the next answer will come up. So be careful listening to that next answer. Got it? So they do give a very slight pause. It's not like they keep on speaking, like it's actually sort of conversation they're trying to present in front of you. So they pause after every answer when you complete. Suppose it's one sentence there, you could find first answer into that and your second answer is in the second statement, second sentence. So there'll be a very slight pause, but you have to be smart enough to analyze it, pick it up, identify that pause. Okay? Use pencil. You should always use a pencil when you are writing your test, right? Because they even give you instructions at the time of exam. The invigilator tells you, although they keep a pen also there, but it's always advised to use a pencil because it's easy to erase and change your answer with a pencil. it becomes quite messy and difficult when you're using a pen. So the other thing is legible. We have discussed about this, talked about this. Your handwriting, you should be right. You have to be very careful about your handwriting, right? This is very important because um, not clear words, the answer goes wrong. At the same time, please do not leave any question unattempted. We'll talk about predictions in the further slides. I'll talk about that. But I think let me restrict myself to the handwriting legible part of it. Whatever you write should be very clear. The examiner he should be able to understand what you have written. You choose any case, that is up to you, as I already talked, but it should be clear. The examiner is actually not going to put an extra effort to read what you have written. Correct? So, the examiner doesn't know me, right? How does he know I have written a correct thing, right? So, he doesn't have any idea of my skills. This is only my paper which is in front of him, and this is the only means by which he can analyze me or score me. So, if that's very clear, if the handwriting is very clear, it's written very neatly and in a legible handwriting, definitely we pick up marks, right? And even a single correct or a single wrong answer changes your band. We'll come to the scoring thing as well. Now, take care of the spellings, singulars. Take care of the spellings, singular, plurals, prepositions and articles, right? Because as I just discussed, in the last slide, a happy family, right? If it is 3 words and it is a happy family, and you are asked to write 3 words, but still maximum of 3 words, and you think like 2 words is also correct, and you write happy family, there is a possibility that they mark you wrong. It's a 50-50 probability, So always be on a safer side. Use the correct articles at the correct position. Or there could be a possibility they have given you a question and they have already written a, and then they have given you here question, say this is question number 7. Then there is no need of writing a. Then you can only write happy family. Correct? So please take care of the articles. Now spellings. There are some words which we actually we know the correct spellings of it, but just in a haste we tend to miss on some alphabets. For example, sincerely. I suppose I missed this E. The spelling goes wrong because Sincrely doesn't make a sense. So that is going to be marked as wrong. Believe, belief, or belief. So there is generally a confusion between I and E in so many words. So we have to know the correct spellings. If I write this will be marked wrong. I have to write the correct spelling to score a mark, to score for that. Singular and plurals. If the question, if your answer is camera or cameras and you write camera, again chances of getting wrong. Although your answer is correct, you have heard the correct word, that's camera, but just because of S, why to lose a mark? So better be careful about it, right? Prepositions, articles. So these are certain words, small things, which can just shake your score. So please be very careful on all these things. Take good care about all these things. Now, no need to understand everything. That will be a half an hour recording with 4 sections. So they'll be speaking everything. So do not actually keep on understanding what they say. When you are more inclined to understand what they are saying, you might miss on your answers. You will be actually marked on your correct answers. They are not going to check your understanding here, right? So it's only the correct answers you'll be marked on. So whatever they speak, definitely you will have to be a bit careful. You will have to keep your senses open to pick up the answer. And in a way of picking up the answer, you will definitely listen to everything, whatever they are speaking. But don't put on extra effort to actually understand what the theme of that particular topic is, right? So, similar thing goes on for your reading exam as well. We will talk about that in the reading topic also when we have a special class on reading. So, there also, there are so many words, there are big, big passages, and on an average, each passage has around 2000 words. So you cannot practically, humanly, it's not possible to understand all those 2000 words and answer 14 questions in just 20 minutes. So you have to pick up a skill of just scanning or skimming, or as I say in listening, to just pick up your correct answer, what that is, right? So for that, you have to be very alert, you have to be smart enough to exactly localize the words, right? Now, is it possible if we do not, if we just keep on listening and pick up the answer without any clue or without any thing which is helping us? Now, we have a solution to that also. There are certain words which are called keywords. What are keywords? Keyword is, what is a key? Key is something which helps you to open the lock, unlock something, and then you are into whatever you want. Similarly, here, keywords, what are they? They are, special words in a question which you can just pick up and listen to the recording. When something related to that is in this recording, you can be very careful about locating your answers. It will be somewhere around those keywords. Correct? For example, I just put up a question. It is a multiple choice question. Why are comics useful? Right? Or how does volunteering benefit students? And suppose here the option is helps in CV, helps in employment prospects, serves a purpose, or helps to socialize. And the fourth option is helps no, not monetary, because it's already volunteering. For example, there are three options, and this is my question here, and this is my question here. So why are comics useful? So one keyword is comic. How is comic? Means something they'll be talking about comic. Now it's not that they'll talk everything about comics and we have to pick up everything about it. We have to actually take up the word useful, right? So whatever they speak about the uses of comics, I'll pick up my answer from there. The other question says, how does volunteering benefit students? So volunteering, suppose I've read the heading. You have to read the heading very properly, because that will serve half of your purpose. I have read volunteering, so means this has to be, the answer is related to volunteering, but what related to volunteering? How does that benefit the students? So my keyword here is benefits. Now they keep on speaking. I think volunteering helps to socialize, but not every person would like to socialize. So I have heard the word socialize. I just blindly make this as correct answer. But this is not. Why? Because I have not heard the complete recording. This is indeed not the answer. And then the speaker talks about, yeah, I think volunteers follow, they get a purpose of life. So this is the correct. That helps in their CV. Now, do I find a word CV here? No. On the other hand, I find the word employment prospects here. Correct? So, what is the CV related to? What purpose does CV solve? That helps in the employment. So, these two are the correct answers. Although, this the speaker talked about in the very first sentence. So, if I blindly just pick this up and mark this as a correct answer, so I am losing 2 marks, right? Because this and this, there is nothing like half a mark there. It is +1 or 0. There is no -1 as well, right? So, like this. These are the keywords. If I have picked up the word benefit, so when the speaker is talking about some benefits, I will automatically become alert that now somewhere my answer is going to come. So let me be very careful now. Look at 2 to 3 questions at a time. Although before they start the speaking, they tell you now you get some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You have just taken up a glance, you have run your eyes through questions 1 to 5, right? But just again look at the keywords for at least 2 questions, if not 3. My first question was comics useful, second was volunteering benefits. So now when the recording is being played, for by chance, if I miss this, this question, and I come across the word volunteering benefits, so at least I can attempt this question correct. I should not just stop there and thinking what the speaker talked about this question. I have to just move forward. If miss something, leave it there and come forward. In the end, we'll give predictions for that. So just keep on moving forward because the recording is not going to stop. That will keep on playing for half an hour, and even they will not repeat the recording. Answers can you now. One thing where you have to be very careful is don't get confused at this point. Answers can come quickly, immediately. Sentence by sentence, you can have the answer. Even a single sentence can have 2 answers, or it can come at a gap. The speaker is speaking for 2 minutes and you are not getting an answer. Why? Because you couldn't track the keyword for your next question. So there is a possibility this can happen as well, right? So these are certain traps, where the IELTS examiner tried to take in. But you have to be smart enough in that. Do not go by the length, by the distance when your answer is coming, gap when your answers are coming, but just be focused, right? Be focused when you have the answers. Correct. The next thing is they generally use paraphrasing and not the same words. Fine. They will not use the same words. For example, if this is volunteering benefits, they will not use benefits. They might use how volunteering is useful for the students, right? They will use synonyms. So here your synonyms come into play. Synonyms, antonyms. The question says, this laptop is not very expensive. Like laptop, not very expensive. Right? It is written like that. But the examiner speaks the laptop is quite cheap. Right? So not very expensive and quite cheap. So here they are antonyms. Right? So you have to have knowledge about these words, synonyms, antonyms, related words. Right? they will not use the same words. They will definitely paraphrase it. They will definitely use some other words. Correct? So if you have a good hold of it, good hold over your knowledge of English, you will definitely pick up the correct answer. Even though they give you a trap, this is again another trap, but still you will come out of it very quickly. Now this is the scoring criteria. These are your correct answers, right? These are your number of correct answers, and this is the score which you get. If you attempt 18 to 22 correct answers, you get a band of 5.5. If your correct answers are 23, 24 or 25, you get a band of 6. From 26 to 29, you get a band score of 6.5. Correct answers of 30 or 31, you get a band score 7. 32, 33 or 34, you get a band score 7.5. 35 or 36 correct answer gives you a band score of 8. 37 or 38 gives you a band score of 8.5. So just see, if my answers are like, for example, in Canada they generally ask you a score this, right? So suppose I have to pick 7 in listening, for example, and I get 29 correct answers, right? But for band 7, this is band 7, the minimum has to be 30, right? So just because of one wrong answer, I missed the band. Rather than 6, I will get a band rather than a band 7, I will get a band score of 6.5. Now, what generally happens is, if they have asked this, you get 8 in this, you get 8 in this, you get 6.5 in this, you get 7 and you get 7. Now, there is one module where you scored less. So for that, you will have to repeat the entire IELTS again. There is no scope that you can give only the listening test, take the listening test again. You will have to take the entire exam all over again. So every correct answer or every wrong answer matters. Every correct answer or every wrong answer matters. Right? So be very particular about this. Now, when you get the question, when you are answering the question, I just mentioned, right? When you are answering the question, check all the questions. There is a possibility that one question is at the end, at the back of the page, and you have by chance missed it. Although you knew the answer to that, but you missed it, and that gets your score down. So check all the questions, answer them, and there are many they are actually giving you tips and clues to help you with they really help you with that. For example, they give you some time to check your questions before they start the recording. As I said, they will say, please check question number 1 to 5. You will get some time to look at questions 1 to 5. So actually look at questions 1 to 5, right? If you do not find anything, just flip on the page and see. If there are 2 diagrams, suppose one diagram is here and one diagram is here, you have question 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and you have only question number 5 here, right? So, and they have told you to look at questions 1 to 5. You have searched all the 4 questions here, right? But 5 is on the other diagram, and you really have no clue where 5 is, because it's not here in this diagram. and no other question is in the other diagram. But look for it. There has to be a question number 5. Trace it and answer it. Right? Now check your headphones. There are two ways the recordings are being played. One is they'll be giving you your headphones and they'll give you some time. They'll play a small recording before they start with the final exam. Check that everything is clear. Your headphones are working proper. You have some adjusting device on your table itself with which you can adjust the sound high, or you can adjust the volume of that. You can only adjust the volume and nothing else. It's only the volume adjustment. So check your headphones if they are working properly. Adjust the volume which is okay for you. One thing is like this. The other way they play the recording is there's a big hall and all the students are there. They are sitting as per the seating arrangement, and a centralized recording is being played. So every student has to listen to that recording and keep on answering. They do not provide you with headphones. They'll just play the recording loud and you have to answer the questions. So there you cannot change the recording, because if you do one adjustment, that might be comfortable for you but not for the other candidate. So there you have no option of doing any alterations. But yes, with your headphones you can definitely adjust the volume as per your own comfort or as per your own convenience. And please check them that they're working properly. Concentrate and don't lose focus. That is very important. There is a possibility that there are some surrounding sounds. So please ignore them at that time. Just concentrate, completely focus, give your 100% attention to the recording. Just listen whatever they are speaking. For the surrounding sounds, utilize time after you're done with the questions, right? So completely focus on the recording, listen to your answer, because 100% all the answers are there in the recording. There is nothing like they will not give and they would ask for your assumptions or your ideas. It is never there like that. Every answer to your test is there in the recording. The thing is, are you in a position to pick those answers? That's your caliber. Predictions. Now, there is one prediction. We definitely, like if the recording has gone once and we have missed some answer, and how do we predict? How do we do a guesswork? How do we do a tukka work there? We have one. I mean, that might not work 100%, but yes, we can in any way predict. Suppose the question is, the hall has a capacity of dash people. The hall was built by dash. Right? Now, first question is this. The second question is this. The hall has a capacity of dash people. So it has to be a number. So once you are done with all the answers, you have transferred all your answers from the question paper to the answer sheet. And after that, look at the answers which you have missed, which you have left unattempted. Don't leave them unattempted, right? Just pick them up and just think if you can just recall some number they talked about. Maybe it was 80. They said that I have 80 guests, but the person says this hall has a capacity of 85 people. So at least you have something. Now it's not like that if you write 80 and the answer is 85, your answer will be correct. That has to be 85. But there is a possibility that if you write 80, maybe he also spoke 80. You are not sure. They are not going to repeat the recording. But here you will have to give a prediction. Alright, the hall was built by dash. Now built by, it has to be some person. It has to be some group of people. It has to be some organization. So think about it. What were they speaking? Maybe they were talking about they use some proper nouns, some name of a person. If you remember that, write it. So just be careful. Like, so many people means has to be a number, built by has to be a name or some group. So here your predictions come into role. Now, how do you actually improve your listenings? For that, you will have to listen English every day. How do you listen English every day? Watch some English movies, BBC News. That is the best thing, that gives you a wonderful accent. So watch English movies, right? So I don't say specifically take out 1 hour or 2 hours a day. That might not be possible for some people. So maybe when you are traveling, take out 20 minutes, take out 10 minutes. That they're not going to actually play the same recording what you hear in the BBC News. But this, like this, if you just listen to 10 minutes daily, you'll get used to that accent, right? So the key definitely is practice and practice. That is the only key. So keep on practicing. There are so many tests you can get hold of. Just practice. So if we also conduct the sessions, if you really like the session, I would say please enroll with the Unacademy. Use my reference code, that is Dr. Vibha Hans, and you'll get discounted price, discounted charges. And once you enroll with us, for me, I would say I'm conducting so many listening sessions. I have taken so many practice tests there. I have just today I'll be completing my writing task 1, and from tomorrow I'm starting with a new course, that is essay writing task 2 for both the general category and the academic one. So we do a lot of practice. Our motive is to help you the maximum we can. So for that, you will have to get in touch with us. These are the special classes, these are free of cost. But once you enroll with us, you will have an access to our live sessions as well. Not only mine, if you enroll it through my code, but you will have an access to the live sessions from all the educators. So, there are so many things on the YouTube. If you just put in a keyword, you will have so many videos, and they're absolutely free of cost. I absolutely agree to this. But just imagine if you have to look for one word, and you will have to see, so there will be so many videos which will come up. So you will have to watch all of them to pick up the one which you actually want. So that will be a waste of time, and I say waste of energy. So this is what Unacademy platform is doing. We are not giving you raw materials. We are giving you a cooked food, that is to ace your IELTS exam. Ace IELTS, correct? So I hope you like the session. If you like the session, please do get enrolled with us. Use my referral code Dr. Vibha Hans and get in touch with us, right? Thank you so much, and good luck for your exam. Happy studying, guys.